I felt the lie before I saw it. The music had dipped, the toasts paused, and the ballroom lights dimmed to that warm, honeyed glow meant to flatter everyone. But my chest tightened, an instinct honed not by paranoia, but by months of quiet noticing. I slipped away from the crowd, weaving past drunken laughter and clinking glasses, and pushed open the side door near the catering hallway. That's when I saw them. My husband's hands on my sister-in-law's waist, her mouth on his, their bodies pressed together like they'd rehearsed this 100 times. My breath didn't hitch, my voice didn't rise. I simply looked at them the way a surgeon watches a heartbeat flatline, calmly, clinically, already planning the next step. And when they noticed me, when my sister-in-law gasped and he stuttered my name, I didn't respond. I just turned back toward the ballroom. My brother, her groom, stood near the head table, hands in his pockets, posture too loose for a man minutes from his ceremony. Our eyes met. He took me in once, assessed the storm beneath my ribs, and he winked. "Don't worry," he murmured, barely moving his lips. "The main event is about to begin." I used to think love was a fortress. When I first met my husband, he held me like he was afraid someone would steal me. He memorized my order at every restaurant, he kissed me like he'd invented the gesture, and he swore I was his anchor. But anchors can drown you just as easily as they can steady you. It started small, phone face down, late nights explained with the same clipped excuses, a faint scent of perfume that didn't belong to me. I didn't need a screaming confession. Cheaters repeat themselves like bad actors. Their patterns betray them long before their words do. The proof arrived on a Tuesday. A message on his synced laptop, brief, reckless, stupid. "Miss you already." Same place? Same place. I remember that phrase more than the betrayal itself. I sat still for a full minute. No tears, no fury, just a tightening focus, like the world sharpening at the edges. I made copies. I contacted a lawyer. I started rerouting funds with the precision of someone rearranging chess pieces before checkmate. And then I waited. My brother noticed first. Of course he did. He's always been the observer, the one who reads the room faster than anyone else. When I finally told him, when I showed him the messages, he didn't respond with shock or rage. He simply asked, "Do you want quiet justice or a public execution?" I remember smiling. Public. With good lighting. He laughed like he'd been hoping I'd say that. Together we planned. He handled logistics, timelines, seating arrangements, audio cues. I handled information, legal documents, financial transfers, a curated folder of screenshots and video evidence. We didn't sabotage the wedding, we redesigned the climax. Back in the ballroom, guests settled into their seats as the officiant called for attention. My sister-in-law walked the aisle with shaky steps, mascara barely concealing the panic she thought she hid well. My husband stood in the front row, eyes darting toward me like I was holding a detonator. He wasn't wrong. My brother took her hands, smiling with all the warmth of a man about to deliver a toast. But I knew better. His smile mirrored mine, sharp, purposeful. "Before we begin," he said, "we prepared something special, a little tribute." The screen behind them flickered on. Photos first, her and my husband laughing a little too closely, disappearing from parties at suspicious times. Then videos, then messages, each one landing like a guillotine blade. Gasps tore through the crowd. My mother covered her mouth. My husband whispered my name, stepping toward me like I'd saved him a seat in forgiveness. I didn't move. My sister-in-law collapsed to her knees, begging my brother to stop. He didn't. And then, the final reveal. Divorce papers already signed. Bank accounts already separated. My husband's name removed from the business we built together. A clean, surgical cut. He stared at me like he'd just realized he'd been playing checkers on my chessboard. My brother ended it with a single line. "Vows require loyalty. Neither of you brought any. The room erupted, not in cheers, not in outrage, but in a stunned silence that tasted like justice. Later, as the chaos smoldered and guests whispered like wildfire, I stepped outside into the evening air. I felt light, unanchored in the best way. Betrayal had been the wound, but revenge was the stitch that closed it. I didn't need to look back at the wreckage. I'd already walked through the fire and left the guilty in the flames. And as the ballroom doors shut behind me, I realized something simple, something liberating. Some endings aren't tragedies. They're upgrades.